What is up, my friends? Welcome back to the Wallet Monkey channel, where we give you all the credit intel you need to grow your wallet. Now, we've got like this little rebuilding credit series going on here. I think it'll end up being somewhere between 3 to 5 videos. I don't really know where this one's gonna fall. Hopefully this falls in the beginning so that the rest of the videos make sense. But anyways, what I wanna talk about and discuss is, I've been on this credit journey myself as well. And I went from a 460 to a 760. The goal originally was 800. The goal was originally to have 100K liquid on revolving credit cards. I might change that. I might turn my focus now and get more involved in business credit cards now that I've accomplished pretty close to what I wanted. I'm not really sure. So anyways, just kind of going with it for now. But what I wanted to share with you is a lot of the mistakes that I made rebuilding my credit. I've seen others now, probably hundreds of other people now at this point. It seems to be these really bad ideas that are perpetuated through society that are just kind of these idioms and these ideas, right? That just for some reason spread out and they kind of suck. And so understand that a lot of this stuff that you're hearing about that seems to be like this common knowledge of rebuilding credit, a lot of it's wrong, first off. And it is the slowest way for you to actually rebuild credit. Okay, so I've shot videos about this in the past, but legitimately you could just focus on utilization and building relationships and you would get further than 99% of people trying to rebuild their credit right now. Lower your utilization to 1%, focus on building relationships, secured cards, secured savings accounts, high yield savings accounts, money market accounts, whatever, pledge loans on Navy Fed, and you would do better than 99% of people. Insane, right? Okay, let's dive in. So, things to focus on. I think there's 7 points here. Keep utilization being reported low, 5% or less. And you notice how this is the first one. These aren't in order per se, but I would definitely say that this is the most important one. Especially when you got like low limit cards, $200 cards, $500 cards. Keep it low. Across the entire revolving profile, outside of personal loans, keep this to 5% or less. 1% would be ideal. That's really where you want to be. Churn key cards you want to keep long term. What do I mean by this? Churning, right? What I mean is that with a lot of these cards, when you get them, you need to, for the first 2 to let's say 4 months, you need to go max them out, then pay them down. Pay them down before the statement date. And obviously you don't want those balances sitting on there and have to pay interest on those because a lot of these cards that you've got are really bad interest rates. You're in the subprime category when you're rebuilding, in deep subprime category. So we want to churn these. So just focus on one at a time probably because I'm assuming expenses might be tight and the amount of free liquid capital that you've got is lower, right? So that's what we want to focus on. And again, going back when I was in that position, what do you know? Income was also an issue. Do what you can with what you got, okay? Next is we want to get secured cards and build up savings accounts at key banks we want to do long-term business with. These are like, for example, if you want to get into Amex, there's probably very little chance, unless you're 680 or above and you got a decent credit profile, are you going to get into Amex? And your shot there, your best shot would be to get one of the co-brand cards like the Delta card or something like that, right? The co-brand cards have a different underwriting mechanism or system, at least it seems that way, and they're easier to get with a lower score, meaning like 680s, 690s, we're at the top end of the subprime, getting into the good category, right? On the FICO end. So those are the accounts that you want to set up. You want to set up money market savings accounts, certificate accounts, high yield savings accounts. Like if you're having troubles getting into the Amex ecosystem, you could get into their debit card. You could get into high yield savings account. You can do the same thing on the business side. I mean, they've almost got unlimited ways to get in there now. And Amex, whether they admit it or not, does use an internal tracking, profiling, scoring mechanism of some sort. All the big banks do. You got to just assume that at this point. It's just Navy Fed that's publicly talking about it, or publicly allows you to know it, rather. Okay, so also understand the secured credit card at a lot of the better institutions will mature at 6 to 8 months. Get a secured card at these locations and just let it build up, right? Leave it alone. Like Navy Fed's a great example. You can go and get a $200 secured card, and in 6 to 8 months, you can have that graduate into a cash rewards. That's the green card for $2,000. Seen it time and time again. People still got baddies on their accounts. They still got bankruptcies. They still got all kinds of stuff going on. Okay, next, build transactional history with the institutions you want to get cards with. You're hearing the repetition once again. Like that's literally all we talk about on this channel. So transactional history, it just shows that we're transacting with this institution. We've got these savings accounts over here. We're doing direct deposit. We're doing regular savings accounts, like you name it. Anything that you're doing and moving money around between these accounts into the bank itself are all counted as transactions. And that's what we want to really build up because we want to show that we're serious and we want to do business with them. But also too, the deeper reason here is that they are tracking this. All right, leverage as many soft pull, high quality cards as possible to get more available credit. The more available credit you've got, the easier it becomes to keep your utilization down if you want to somewhat use these cards. Because I mean, if you've got just a bunch of $500, $200 cards, it's really hard to keep utilization to 1%. Let's all agree on that, right? We want to leverage, and this is kind of like leverage as many soft pull, high quality cards. Usually you don't have high quality cards that allow soft pulls. Very few. But again, that's where we want to put our focus. So that the shots that we are firing, we are making sure that they've got the best accuracy. And so that would be doing lots of research, making sure, checking the accuracy of the soft pull, trying to see if we've got a match with credit engines or recommendation engines on the Credit Karma side, Wallet Hub side, and other sites like that. If we're getting a pre-qualification in there and then we're going to the website and we're getting a pre-qualification, well, to me, that is more substantial than, one or the other. I tend to try and stack up as many data points like that as I can, and then I'm making that decision and pulling the trigger, right? Like, do we wait for the next statement date to hit? Do we have intel on where they're pulling in terms of credit bureaus? If they do pull, should we go freeze that account so that we ensure that there's no hard hit, regardless if it's a fluke or something messes up, right? Like, those are the things, the data points we want to know so that we can take the proper actions so that we can get the best possible result. Like, I'll give you an example. You can lock down your TransUnion with the Goldman Sachs Apple Card and they'll just soft pull it and you'll still get approved. So that's a card where it's a soft pull all the way through, and then if you accept the offer, it's a hard pull usually, but even if you've got your TransUnion locked, people still get approved for that card every single day. Okay, so great example there. Next, you want to, no matter what, I know there's gonna be a pull for this because you need money, and again, a lot of times we're looking at this wrong, right? We're looking at it with the wrong mindset. We're looking at this like free money, and we shouldn't. I talk about that in another one of the videos. You want to tune into that. If that's already been published, then we'll link a card here. Stay away from payday loans. Stay away from collateralized loans where you have to put up your car, you got to put up your house note, you got to put up something wild and wacky like that to get some sort of subprime $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 loan. Understand that as soon as you get your score up into the low 700s, you're already going to get such a better rate. They're not even going to ask you for proof of income. They're not even going to ask you to put up collateral on that loan. So just wait. Especially if you're in the 680s, 690s, just wait. You're so close. In the 500s, I sound crazy to you, but understand that if we tackle these things that I'm giving you in this list, our score is going to see a huge jump. Utilization is a big one. Utilization, you can see anywhere from dropping down from 30% to sub 10%. You can see anywhere between a 50 to 70 point jump. And that is a much bigger jump than what you're going to see if you get a bankruptcy removed. It's just how it is. So stay away from that stuff. It's just like, especially subprime and deep subprime, like loans and specialties in these companies you've never heard of before. Oh my God, who knows what the actual rate is? Is this an amortized loan as well, like your house, to where you end up paying hundreds of % of interest over time because it compounds? So, these are the things that you want to watch out for, right? And you being in a vulnerable state, you being in a desperate state is not going to help. So we got to make sure that we're always tackling this stuff with a clear head, yeah? And lastly, ditch the store cards. I know that there's the shopping cart trick, and all these threads in the forums and stuff are constantly popping up and being populated about how to get these store cards without a hard pull, or if you just put in the last four of your social, it won't hard pull, but sometimes it does. Depends on if it's Comenity or Synchrony, right? Just why bother? The only caveat I'd say here is if it's a place that you shop often, then that's a card that you should get. But I would argue that you should get it later, because if you get it now and you started off with a $200 or a $500 balance, they might sandbox you. And so a lot of these really great cards that you want to get, if you're not careful and you get it too early, they will sandbox you. And what sandboxing means is that your account is just never going to get a credit limit increase, or it's never going to go over $1,000 or $2,000, no matter what you do. You could max the card out every single month for 2 years straight and pay it all down, and they're never going to give you a credit limit increase. Whereas if I would have just gotten no card and then came 3 months later, 4 months later, and I'm now in the 700s, I could have gotten a 5, 10K card, and there's no sandboxing issues. There's no notes on my account. That's another dirty little trick that they do that most people don't know about, is that they will do things like that. Capital One is notorious for this. Discover kind of does it, but I've had experiences to where I just kept higher balance on the card, and then I finally paid it all down. 2 months later, they doubled my credit line. I would say the worst one out of all of them is Capital One, and again, I assume that subprime cards are even worse, because those cards cap out at $1,500 to $2,000. That's the most you can ever get out of those cards. So why even bother? All right, anyways, that's all I got for you. 7 quick things that you can focus on right now if you're rebuilding your credit, you want to improve your score. So if you feel like I missed something or you just want to add something to the conversation, talk about your personal experiences, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you want this video to get in front of more people, click the like button. And if you're brand new here and you love personal finance, credit stuff like us, then stick around. Hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, turn it to all, and be on the lookout. More videos coming soon. See ya.